What's up, Fnaf fans? Welcome back to another video, and today is a different one. It is regarding the Fnaf movie, where we near enough have a confirmation on the rating. So let's get straight into it. So as we all know, a massive question has been asked if the movie is going to be rated R or rated PG-13. And I'm going to give my honest opinion on what rating I think it will be. Now, before I explain, we want to get into a fact that Blumhouse had a habit of just introducing a new thing, especially with the new movie Megan, where in the cinema and theaters it was released as PG-13, and then on Blu-ray and streaming services within the next week or two, it was released rated R. This is what I think they're going to do with the Fnaf movie. As we know, the Fnaf movie on the 27th of October is releasing in theaters, but also on streaming services. I can't remember which one it is. It might be Peacock. I'm not exactly sure which streaming service it is, but it will be on streaming services straight away on opening day. This led me to a little thing to believe that this might be a rated R movie due to maybe it not being able to bring in as much money in theaters, because obviously, as we all know, beginner or newer FNAF fans may not be eligible to get into a rated R movie. However, I think if you're going off the main, fan base of FNAF, will probably be able to go to a rated R film. Like the games came out on the 8th of August 2014. It's now 2023. Most of the people are gonna be over the age of 18 at this stage. Another reason to believe I think it's gonna be PG-13 is on set, a tweet I saw on set from a cast member or from a set performer is that most of the things on set was shown that the movie is gonna be PG-13. I'll do my best to find that tweet, but there was a tweet given out from, I think it was a part of the crew anyway of the movie, that the whole word around the set it was going to be a PG-13 movie. In my opinion, you can't really get the FNAF movie to its full potential without it being rated R. Like the amount of scenes we're gonna miss out on in theaters if it is rated PG-13 is gonna be a huge detriment to the movie, in my opinion. For example, I'm a huge FNAF fan, as you can see. Obviously, this is a movie channel, but obviously I'm a massive FNAF fan. So, without seeing the Springlock scene in theaters, if it is PG-13, the way they're probably going to have to censor that scene is going to really not sit right with me, and I'm guessing it won't sit right with a lot of FNAF fans, because we do want to see those scenes in action. We've waited about 7 to 8 years for a movie, and now we're going to be sort of told that we can't have these scenes that we saw in the game in movie form because of this rating. I feel that would be a bit disappointing for the whole fan base in general. Another reason why I feel like this movie should be rated R is because recently in the FNAF universe, if we're talking Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was mainly targeted towards kids. It is a rated 12 game, I think, on Steam and on Xbox and PlayStation, but it's not a scary game. It's really targeted towards kids. While if you look at the lore behind FNAF, it's a very scary and tragic storyline. To compare it to the newer games, in my opinion, the whole franchise as a whole needs a sort of terrifying entry, such as the movie, to really solidify itself as a horror. Because if you look at the more recent games, it's looking towards sci-fi. It's not scary. We all know the new game entry is not scary. The books can be quite gory, but we need to show that this story in general can be absolutely horrifying and captivate an audience and really just dictate the whole genre as a whole. Ever since the game has come out back in 2014, it's changed the entire analog horror indie game. Like the amount, if you go onto GameJolt and type Five Nights at Freddy's, you're gonna find multiple pages of Five Nights at Freddy's fan games. It's completely captivated audiences around the world and changed the whole genre as a whole. And that's why I feel if you limit the storyline in the movie to what it cannot be, it's gonna detriment the movie and, in my opinion, the franchise as a whole. For example, scenes such as the Springlock scene, Elizabeth Afton getting scooped, Ennard if he ever shows up in the future. Ennard is an awful animatronic that will do awful things, and you won't get that full experience with him or even Springtrap for what William Afton does in full effect if this movie is PG-13. However, if they decide to go PG-13 in theaters and then rated R on streaming, I guess, yeah, that's quite cool, but it kind of ruins the cinema experience, in my opinion. The whole, aspect of the FNAF community at the minute is, oh my god, we are going to see these characters on the big screen. Now, realistically, I think most of the fan base will want to see William Afton's Springlock scene on the big screen rather than at home. I think that is what we can all agree on. Now, don't get me wrong, PG-13 movies can be scary. You look at the first Insidious movie, absolutely terrified a lot of people. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, in my opinion, is a really, really good horror movie and a really good example of, you know, pushing PG-13 to the limits. And I hope to the fact that this movie, if it is PG-13, will push that limit, like extremely push the limit, because it's gonna need to with the backline and whole storyline in general. Now, if you're gonna ask me honestly what I think the rating is gonna be, I'm gonna say PG-13. As much as it hurts me to say, I do think it will be PG-13, judging on the fact that the whole kind of game, if you're just playing the games as a, you know, a gamer, the games aren't, you know, bloody or gory, except for the Springlock scene in Fnaf 3. Like, there's nothing to show, okay, this game cannot be played by someone under the age of 12, you know, that sort of sense. However, the storyline and lore, if you watch any of the Map Theory videos, that's when the, you know, the lore starts to get really disturbing, and any of the Meme Bear VHS tapes, Baddington, Squimpus, that's when it starts to get, you know, a bit more adult themes. But in my opinion, if you compare the analog stories compared to the actual lore shown in the games, I find that the analog story a far, far better way of telling the FNAF storyline, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree on that. For example, if you look at Squimpus McGrimpus, this dude tells the story of FNAF amazingly. You know, I see a lot of people actually get mixed up with his timeline, thinking it's the actual lore of the game. That's how amazing he tells the story. And I feel if the movie can be rated R and capture any bit of that magic that Squimpus did, it's going to be a game changer. Now, limiting this movie is going to be a massive, you know, L in my opinion, because of what you can show and what you cannot show. I know you can't, I think you're limited to one swear word, and you're able to show blood but not in high amounts. So I suppose you can, I guess, show some things, but I feel like the Springlock scene will be extremely limited. If you got a rated R FNAF movie and you saw the Springlock scene, I think that scene would be intense as hell. It'd be extremely disturbing, and that's what we all want to see as FNAF fans. We want to see the story we've all grown up with intensely, you know, modified, that we can actually see a real person go through the events of what these characters did in the game form. Now, that is just my opinion on what I think the lore and all, and I feel like if you're gonna want to tell a good story, you're gonna want to get the lore bang on. And if you're gonna tell the story from a lore standpoint, you're gonna have to make this rated R or extremely push the limits of PG-13. Especially with some scenes, like the whole story of FNAF is about kids being murdered. It's not, you know, the most child-friendly thing that you can show on screen, with it being PG-13, if you ask me. Now, that's just my thoughts on the movie as a whole. I really do hope it's rated R, but I genuinely believe it will be PG-13, unfortunately. Let me know what you think the rating is going to be in the comments below. If you do enjoy movie news or just FNAF in general, I'm a massive FNAF fan, so let me know in the comments below what you think of FNAF in general. I can have some conversations. My favourite character is Foxy. Hopefully y'all can agree. He's the GOAT, I don't care. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe, have an amazing day, and peace.